Hi everyone, FPLMattDay here, and it's my Game Week 2 early thoughts video. Before I start, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Be sure to give the video a like and get any comments and questions and thoughts, and let me know how you went in Game Week 1 and if you have any questions for Game Week 2. And we are now wrapped up. The first game week is done. Really enjoyable and interesting game week. We saw plenty of clean sheets. Lots of players that we expected to return did return. And I don't think there was too many surprises going into the end of this game week. There is always a couple of issues to sort out, and you can see it in the title of this video. This is some early thoughts on Game Week 2. In particular, replacements for Quansah from Liverpool. A lot of people have him in their team at 4.5 million. They're not sure who to bring in ahead of him. Barco as well was another one, a 4 million defender that did not play, and a few people are wondering what to do with him. So stay tuned on this video and I will chat about those problems. But first of all, I'm just going to give some thoughts on players who I thought really stood out in Game Week 1. And they're probably players to look and keep an eye out for going into the next few game weeks. And one player I'm going to say that probably didn't quite go to plan was João Pedro from Brighton. And he was someone, if you watched a lot of my videos, I said he is someone to avoid. He was very highly picked from a lot of other creators at 5.5 million, but there's always a rotation threat with him. And he isn't necessarily the main breadwinner in that Brighton attack. He did start, but he didn't return. And Danny Welbeck did. He was the focal point of that attack. If you're going to have a third forward sort of enabler, you've either got to have someone that gets consistent minutes every week or play that 5 million asset when he has a fixture, that you think he's going to thrive. But you kind of got to wait and see with a lot of those 5.5 million players. And Welbeck seems to be the guy. If Brighton are fit and firing and ready to go, and you know he's going to start, you throw him in for 1 or 2 games, he's going to get you returns. He got 12 points. Another one was Havertz from Arsenal, £8 million. Pretty pivotal in that Arsenal attack. They're going to win most weeks. He showed that he's a bargain, coming out at 12 points at home to Wolves with a goal and an assist. And he did miss another really good chance as well. And it could have been a lot more. I think Solanke as well is another one that was very highly picked and sought out going into this game week. He was £7.5 million. A few managers are probably a little bit worried because he blanked for Spurs, but he did have about 4 attempts on goal. He hit the target with a couple of them as well. Goals will come. He's got a good fixture in game week 2. And I think he is a hold. I wouldn't worry too much about that. And then Mbeumo was another one who stood out for me. I spoke a lot about him in my videos building up to game week 1. And he's going to become Brentford's main source of goals again, like he was in that first 6 months of last season. Tony is trying to leave. When Mbeumo scored, was close to another one. He'll probably get himself on pens as well. So keep an eye out on him, especially in weeks like game week 3, where they host Southampton at home. So that's kind of my thoughts on players who stood out, but problems that need to be solved, where I'm going to share screen and go through my thoughts on 4.5 million defenders for game week 2, whether or not it's you're looking to replace Quansah or you've got someone else within that range that you just want to bring in. And we're going to go into my third option. I'm going to use the Fantasy Football Hub predicted points tool. If you like these features, you can get a 50% off a membership, or you get your money back if you don't win your mini league. You can go to the link in the bio if it's something you want to do. But we'll start off. I've got Anderson on the screen here from Palace. Did concede 2 goals in game week 1 against Brentford, but he's £4.5 million at 18.9% ownership already as well. And he still caught the eye. He had a shot on target in that first game. He's got predicted points of 13.2 here, going all the way up until game week 9. And Palace, I think they'll spring up a few surprises defensively. He's also a very attack-minded defender. He gets his head on set pieces as well. They got West Ham this week, then Chelsea away, Leicester home, Manchester United at home. So you probably look at that and think there's a few tricky sort of fixtures for Palace, but then Everton away in game week 6. But he's got some pretty good predicted points, and you can manage his minutes as well. and you can probably play him in a fair few of these games, even Forest in game week 8. So for me, I think Anderson still has that potential attacking upside as a defender if you're looking to replace Quansah, and he starts every single week. So he's kind of my third pick right now when it comes to looking to replace Quansah. We'll go into my second pick, and you can see me typing his name in there. Rico Lewis. Let's bring him up here. We'll put Rico in. You just saw him there, but we'll put in his full name just so you can see his predicted points. And this is all AI generated predictions, as you can see, that are coming in there. And the reason I'm going to put Rico Lewis in there is because he caught my eye in the first game week. He was slotting into that midfield role, obviously in the absence of Rodri. He's 4.5 million. A lot of people are kind of nervous that, well, what about when Kyle Walker comes back? But is Kyle Walker going to come straight into the team? You'd imagine all the way up until City start European football that Lewis could be quite nailed. Pep Guardiola was very complimentary of him. We'll quickly go back here so we can see him. There he is. We'll do that now. Right at the top there. He's only got 9.1 predicted points, so it's not as strong as what we just saw with Anderson, but it's 4.7 going into the Ipswich game. He's someone you can probably rotate in and out. If you're able to get the Ipswich and, say, the Brentford game out of him over the next few, and then, in even the Fulham in game week 7 there, and then you plan to kind of wild card in and around this time anyway, he could be a short-term enabler for me. And Pep was very complimentary. So he's someone I'm keeping tabs on. For me, he's number 2 in terms of the picks as a Quansah replacement. But number 1, I think for me, player that looked really good at Old Trafford. He was really good last season as well for Fulham. 13.7 predicted points up until game week 9. Leicester at home this week. It's Robinson from Fulham. Leicester and Ipswich over the next 2. So very strong fixtures. Then West Ham in game week 4. Game week 6, Forest. Gets a bit trickier in game week 7 and 8, and then Everton in game week 9. But again, short term, really good price. Attacking, attracts bonus points. And I think overall he is the best Quansah replacement. But let's go into a problem that a few managers have in their team right now. And it's, what do we do with this guy here on screen? Barco. He's got 0 predicted points all the way up until game week 9. Did not start for Brighton. It's a tricky one because people are sort of saying, well, is he going to get sold in volume? Is he going to drop? I'm not sure. I think right now I wouldn't burn a transfer and just waste a transfer on getting rid of Barco if you've only got 4 million to spend. I'd just leave it. If you're wildcarding early over the next 1, 2, 3 game weeks, you just handle it then and get rid of him. But I wouldn't make that move right now. There is players that you can move on for him right now if you really want another option. Or if Barco was a starter in your team and you need him gone, then you can get the likes of Vestergaard, Faze, Harwood Bells, Bednarek, all from their teams, and they're going to start and get you points because, you're looking at probably 1 to 2 points from those guys. So if Barco was a pivotal part of your team, that's completely different. But if he was just a sub, second, third sub type of thing, I wouldn't stress too much. If he does drop by 1 in value, it is annoying, but it can be managed over a wild card. I don't think we need to burn transfers on him unless he is established in your team. And as I mentioned, those picks before are probably the best bet. If we go to, say, someone like Bednarek, predicted points of 12.6, so it's not too bad at 4 million. Forest home in the next game, Brentford away. You also get Ipswich home in game week 5. So it's not looking too bad from that point of view if you do need a starter in there. And if you go to someone like Vestergaard or even Faze, 11.6 of Vestergaard, Fulham, Villa, Palace, Everton. It's not too bad there for Leicester. They look quite resolute at times in the second half against Spurs as well. So there is options if Barco is starting in your team and he's someone you need to look at getting rid of. So there are a couple of my thoughts from game week 1 and some problems we have for game week 2. My early thoughts. One last early thought I will have is this man here, Erling Haaland. We'll put him up on screen. There we go. The price is probably what's taken a while for him to come up. 30.7 points predicted up until game week 9 with 8.7 against Ipswich. What I will say, one last thing, is if you don't have him in your lineup for this week, I'd be very, very scared. You need some sort of coverage from Man City, in my opinion. But look, we'll stop sharing screen. That's my early game week 2 thoughts and some of my Game Week 1 thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe if you're new. Give the video a like, and we will see you all in the next one. I'm FPLMattDay. Thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.